Good evening, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for February 14, 2024. And in the news this evening, police constable killed in bike crash. The Central Committee of the Police Federation has revealed that a police constable has died after the motorcycle he was riding collided with a motor car early Wednesday morning in St. Catherine. Dead is 30-year-old Constable Renardo Spence, who was assigned to the Spanish Town Traffic Department. According to reports, he was riding his motorcycle and was involved in a collision with a motor car in the vicinity of Island Farm Gutters in Old Harbor. He was pronounced dead at 2:08 a.m. at the Spanish Town Hospital. Construction worker charged after he allegedly broke into a shop. A 29-year-old construction worker was charged with shopbreaking and larceny and malicious destruction of property after he allegedly broke into a shop on Sunday, February 4. Charged is Shane Fitzgerald of Mona Common, Kingston. Reports from the Halfway Tree Police are that about 2:15 a.m., Fitzgerald allegedly gained access to the complainant's shop by breaking her glass windows. A sum of $45,000 and other items were reportedly stolen from the shop. A report was made to the police, who commenced an investigation. Fitzgerald was subsequently arrested and charged. His court date is being finalized. Concern raised about motorcycle fatalities in Manchester. With 18 of the 29 road fatalities in Manchester last year being motorcyclists, stakeholders on Tuesday turned the spotlight on bikers at the inaugural meeting of the Manchester Road Safety Network Council. Dante Matthews, Education and Information Officer at the Road Safety Unit, said there is a trend of serious delinquency among motorcyclists.
There's a problem when it comes to our motorcyclists not wearing helmets, or if they're wearing helmets, they're not wearing their approved helmets. Speeding. We call it lane splitting, but what they're actually doing is overtaking improperly, because they should be in the traffic lane, but they drive in the middle of in between traffic. And what we find that some of them do, they remove the mirrors from the bike so that the bike gets slimmer to go through traffic. In Manchester, up to this morning, from January to now, we have lost 3 persons, 2 motorcyclists and 1 private motor vehicle driver. So that's 3 for Manchester so far.
More than 100 motorcyclists died in crashes last year. Manchester is 6th on the list of parishes recording the most deaths from motorcycle crashes and is among several parishes being targeted for public education intervention. The Manchester Road Safety Network Council was established to raise awareness about safe driving practices, reduce fatalities through various interventions, and advocacy for infrastructure and signage. No agreement for Uber to operate in Jamaica, says the Transport Ministry. The Ministry of Transport has disclosed that there is no agreement between the Jamaican government and the ride-hailing company Uber International to operate in Jamaica. Following Uber's introduction to the Jamaican market in 2021, the Transport Authority met with various stakeholders to address the implications of the company's presence in the country and establish the regulatory framework under which it falls. But the Transport Ministry now says no agreement was established for Uber's operation, although an offer does exist and is being reviewed by the Transport Authority. The ministry says the law requires that every person operating a public passenger vehicle for a fee first obtain a road license and the drivers display a badge issued by the Transport Authority. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says if any licensed PPV operator is found to have an agreement with Uber contrary to the terms and the conditions of the license, that license will be revoked by the Transport Authority. JTA cries out for more education resources. The Jamaica Teachers Association is continuing to highlight the lack of adequate resources for the instruction of children. JTA President Leighton Johnson has reiterated that the funding being made available for schools is inadequate. Mr. Johnson also stressed on Tuesday that there is an island-wide shortage of teachers. Speaking at the JTA's 60th anniversary media launch in Kingston, he reiterated his argument that a better compensation package is needed for teachers as a teacher migration remains a crisis for the country. Vamps cartel jury issues dominate the first day of Privy Council hearing. The question of whether Justice Lennox Campbell was obligated to dismiss a tainted juror in the Vamps cartel murder trial appears to be the issue which could determine the outcome of the entertainer's appeal of his 2014 conviction at the UK-based Privy Council. The court on Wednesday morning began hearing arguments in the appeal filed by Cartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, Sean Storm Campbell, Kyra Jones, and Andre St. John. They were convicted in March 2014 of the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. One of the jurors in the case, Livingston Keane, was found guilty of offering a $500,000 bribe to the jury foreman to influence other jurors to return a not guilty verdict in the case. The law lords on Wednesday asked attorneys to focus on the attempted jury tampering issue. The two questions being considered in relation to the attempted bribery are whether the judge was obligated to dismiss the jury, and if not, whether his actions to manage the situation were sufficient. Attorneys for the appellant argued in the morning session that Keane should not have been allowed to continue as he was tainted, and that knowledge of the offer of the bribe might have influenced the other jurors to return a guilty verdict. However, King's counsel Peter Knox, who appeared on behalf of the prosecution, argued that one bad apple should not lead to a dismissal of the entire jury. Kane's dismissal would have meant the trial could not continue, as there would be only 10 jurors remaining, following the earlier discharge of a female juror. Defendants can't derail trials just by making bribes to juries, Knox argued, adding that it would bring the jury system into disrepute if an entire panel were to be dismissed because of one bad juror. He also said that the trial judge was placed in a challenging situation, which he handled the most sensibly, as the information about the attempts to tamper with the jury came right at the end of the trial. Knox said it would be very difficult to get a retrial, and the prosecution had stated that it was prepared to take the risk of going forward. However, the Privy Council judges questioned whether the fact that the case would have to be restarted was enough reason for the trial judge not to dismiss Keane. They noted that a judge cannot sidestep the requirement to dismiss a juror in instances where they are found to be unfit, such as if they suffer from a mental illness. The judges also had questions about Justice Campbell's directions to the jurors following a discovery of the bribe attempt. They questioned whether he had instructed them not to hold the issue against the defendants in the case. Knox noted that the judge had persistently issued very strong warnings to the jurors throughout the trial and had spoken to the jury foreman and asked her to tell her fellow jurors to remember their oath. However, the law lords questioned whether the trial judge had delegated his duties to the foreman. Earlier, attorney for the appellant, Isaac Buchanan, said that they are pushing for their convictions to be quashed. There is no cure, no proviso, or no thought of a retrial or a second bite of the apple, he stated. The hearing continues on Thursday morning. Man accused of defrauding renter remanded. A 21-year-old man accused of defrauding a woman in a house renting scam was on Tuesday remanded in the parish court. Roshane Bailey is being accused of fleecing the woman out of over $100,000. Bailey is charged with obtaining money by means of false pretense. He was to return to court on February 20. The court was told that in December 2023, Bailey allegedly advertised a two-bedroom house for rent in the community of Phoenix Village in Portmore for $75,000 monthly. He is said to have convinced the complainant with pictures of the property. A down payment was negotiated and for the woman to pay a total of $150,000 in 2 installments to cover security and rental. Most of the money was paid with $14,000 outstanding. She said efforts to move into the house did not materialize, with no progress from Bailey. Concerned that she was scammed, the woman reported the matter to the police. An arrangement was made for Bailey to collect the outstanding $14,000, and he was accosted by the police. An investigation led to him being charged by the police with obtaining money by means of false pretense. He is being represented by attorney at law Patrice Riley. 57 rounds of ammunition seized in New Haven, St. Andrew. The police are reporting the seizure of 57 rounds of ammunition in New Haven, St. Andrew on Tuesday. Reports from the Duhaney Park Police are that at about 10:10 p.m., a police team was on patrol in the area when a man was seen along a gully, acting in a manner that aroused their suspicion. Upon seeing the police, the man ran and left behind a bag. The bag was searched and it was found to contain 55.380 cartridges, a .40 cartridge, and a .45 cartridge. Investigations continue.